Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Theophilus here. So today's video is going to be a bit of a freestyle. Now the likely title for this video will be something like Why You Must Protect Hope at All Costs. And I'm just going to be sharing about personal experience and why I believe hope must be protected. So there's a lot going on in the world, right? There's been a lot going on in the world for the past 20 years, right? But today in Western society, I don't want to go too deep, but if you are online at all and you look at anything outside of just entertaining, I don't know, if you're looking at what's going on in the world at all, in Western society, you know there's a lot going on. Whether you're a male, female, you don't identify as male or female, whatever kind of person you are, whatever race, culture, whatever. If you're looking at what's going on in the world, you know there's a lot going on. And I make videos where I talk about these things a lot. But I believe one of the worst things that are happening is what's happening with young men. All throughout society, all throughout human history, young men have been, you could say, one of the driving forces that help a society to prosper, right? If you don't have young men that can work, if you don't have young men that are going to be the soldiers that are going to die on the front lines, you have essentially no country. You have no future, right? And of course, we need women as well, right? Without women, you can't make children, which is literally how us humans as a species stay alive, through repopulation, of course, right? But I'm talking about young men in society and the role that men play in society. Now, there's a term I've learned that says respect is earned, and that is absolutely true. Men are not born with value. Many of us know this, right? From young boys, we're all pretty much taught that we're nothing, and that the female half of the species is so much better at us at everything, right? Unfortunately, a lot of women get praised for simply existing, especially if they're born attractive. This is an unfortunate reality. Men have to build their value. Men have to become valuable and resourceful and intelligent, and they have to offer something to society or to any individual for them, that other person actually care about them in any capacity, save maybe very close family members, right? So all that's true, right? Then there's what's going on. There a lot of people think that, the red pill and all that's so evil and toxic, but that's actually what's helping a lot of men get themselves together or in order so that they can be strong enough for potential families and businesses, etc. I kind of want to talk on that more, but I'm going to digress on that point. What I'm trying to get at is that men need hope. Men need hope in a future. Men need hope in either the society or a structure. Men need a reason to believe that what they're doing has purpose and meaning. That's one of the things I've really sought to understand is like the meaning of life, the meaning of our existence, the meaning of why we do what we do, right? I don't want to believe that life is just about work, taxes, then you die. I want to believe that life has meaning, that life has value, that there's reason to live and to keep going and to keep striving and to try to make something better out of yourself and to try and be a part of something greater than yourself. I'd like to believe that, right? And I believe that hope is a masculine necessity. And I think I first started making content when I was like 18. I was trying to like talk about my beliefs and things like that. And I think maybe that's the main reason why I started making YouTube videos, is because I want to share my beliefs. And I've always felt like I'm receiving so much knowledge. Whether that knowledge is true or false is subjectively, in one sense, up to you to decide. But I believe there's also a part of me that just wanted to express myself. I wanted to share the deeper parts of Theophilus, right? And I made a video called Expression Rather Than Repression. And I think a big part of what's going on in our society is the fact that young men are not being heard. No one cares to hear what young men have to say. A lot of people are just saying men should just shut up and do as they're told. Essentially, they should shut up and get with the program. They should shut up and go with the flow. They should shut up and even shut up and work harder. And I think this is a terrible thing when men feel like society is not hearing them. When men feel like their parents are not hearing them. When men feel like no one around them is hearing them. This is why men go their own way. I wasn't really trying to get that political, but it's just coming out. This is what's going on in society. And it is better for men to express themselves than to repress themselves. Especially if a man doesn't have family, friends, etc. Right? He has to find a way to be heard. He has to be in an environment where he feels seen. And maybe not understood, but at least seen. That's important to a man. Respect. When men get no respect in their society, they're going to go where they feel respected. But I'm going to turn this a little bit on me, right? You could say that I made this channel because I wanted to be respected in some measure. And also because I knew that there are people out there like me. People out there who are like me, who maybe at around 15 years old started getting into these different, you could say, intellectual spirals online, just trying to find out what's real and what's true, trying to understand the world and what's going on in the world we live in, what's going on with ourselves, what's going on with society, what's going on with people, Why does life feel the way it does? These kinds of questions that you typically have, that a lot of people go and search out, and then they try to talk to people around them about it, and no one wants to hear it. I knew there were people like me that relate to me. And I knew that through making this content, I could build an online audience of people that either trust what I have to say or at least want to hear what I have to say and relate to what I have to say. And that thought is encouraging. And arguably one of the reasons why I deleted the 115 extra YouTube videos that I had was because I felt like I wasn't being heard. And in some way, maybe I'm not, but I'm seeing more consistent views than I was back then. And I'm not really getting comments, but I'm getting a few likes. So in some measure, I am being heard. And that's good. It's good for me. It's good for the people that are watching. And I also know that I can inspire people that are like me. People that are on their journey. I know I'm not the only young man in his mid-20s who's trapped. I'm not going to say trapped, but can feel often stuck at a dead-end job that they don't want to be in 5 years from now. I actually do really like my job, but nonetheless, it's limiting. I'm constrained because I have to pour 40 to 50 hours every week into this job that is getting me just enough money to kind of make it by. And that can feel frustrating. When if you had more time and more energy, you could put it into other things that would yield you a more worthy return on investment than the 9-to-5 job. But you gotta keep going. You gotta do what you gotta do. And it can suck sometimes. It can be extremely uncomfortable. It can be painful. It can be frustrating. But you have to keep going. But there is a fear that I have that I'm sure many young men like me have. And that is getting complacent. Not necessarily comfortable, but complacent. Where you feel like, okay, I can live like this the rest of my life. Where you're content to not continue becoming. Where you're content to not keep moving, to not keep evolving and becoming greater. It's quietly convincing yourself that comfort is enough because you've stopped believing you can build something greater. Shocking thought right there. I guess that's a part of the brand I want to build and am building in the future, is helping young men navigate this modern world. Helping young men to eventually see the light at the end of the tunnel, that no, you can achieve financial success. There is hope in a better future. You can achieve your goals. And you don't have to bow down to this disgusting, depraved, and wicked world system. Like joining Hollywood or something like that. You don't gotta go and be with those people to get what you want outwardly, but inwardly you're a shell of who you actually are. That is extremely disgusting. And I would hate if I end up turning out like that. It is what it is. We've got to protect that hope. You could say you've got to protect the builder of the brand. You got to protect that inner part of you that wants to believe in a better future. There's a song from not someone I would recommend that you listen to. There's this, I'm saying kid like I'm old, but he essentially was pretty much a kid. XXX I don't recommend that you listen to rap music or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But he had a song called Hope. And it was a pretty dark song. You know, it was kind of dark, I'm not gonna lie. But this part of the chorus hits so hard. It's outside my misery. I think I'll find a way of envisioning a better life for the rest of us. And he sings, oh, for the rest of us, the rest of us. It's very beautiful. Beautiful sound to me. But I'd say that about myself. Outside my misery, all the pain, all the frustration, all the anger and sadness, and all the uncomfortable feelings that I feel as a human being. Outside my misery, I think I'll find a way of envisioning a better life for the rest of us. I like that. It's nice. If you don't have that hope, what do you have? Arguably nothing. And me having this online audience, though small it be, gives me a reason to keep going. You know, outside of like my family and stuff, but really gives me a reason to keep going. And I do thank y'all for watching. Thank you for staying here this long. If you want, you can like and share this video. But let us keep hope alive. Let us keep going. Keep fighting. Keep encouraging one another. And stay strong in the midst of this chaotic world. Thank y'all. See you in the next one.